Buenos días, comunidad. There is so much joy in being together that the bell sometimes doesn't work, and that's okay. Because that's what we want. We want joy in being together. Alegría. Buenos días. Bienvenidos a la Congregación Unitariana Universalista de Asheville. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Asheville. En línea o en persona, on site or online, queremos que sepan, we want you to know que quien quiera que seas, whoever you are, a quien quiera que ames, whoever you love, venga de donde venga, eres bienvenido aquí. Come from wherever you come. You are welcome here. All ages, all sizes, all everything. All right. So this morning we have a very special service, and I am honored to be presiding today at the service in which we celebrate those who are bridging. And so that will be part of our time together. And because when I came here, one of the things I loved about this congregation is that y'all love to experiment. Well, today I am experimenting, and I have a pulpit dialogue for our homily sermon time, and we're going to be exploring the theme of welcoming the stranger with a lens of what's happening in our country around immigration. So this morning, we are going to have an awesome service, and I am grateful for our team today. We have Brett Johnson, Will Jernigan, Paul Moore, and Steve LaPointe, and Sandra Goodson providing music for us. Woo! Because music and movement are super important in worship, right? So thank you. We also have Jen Johnson, who is going to be offering the bridging ceremony, and other speakers that will honor our graduates. We have Jacob Oakes, who is our pulpit guest. So we are deeply grateful because this doesn't happen in a vacuum. This happens in collaboration and in community. So now let us prepare for worship with our centering music.
Saying that first verse is way too good for you not to hear it. Let's do it again. say that you stand apart. Put a fence around your yard. You can build a tall rampart and guard it with a gun. You can dig yourself a moat, burn the bridge and burn the boat. Won't matter that much, you know, 'cause all the world is one. All the world is one. You can march in a big parade every Independence Day. You can raise up your own flag and sing your own anthem. It'll ring out in the air with the other anthems there, till the winds of the earth declare all the world is one. All the world is one. Go and ask the Buddha when he's sitting under the tree. Go ask Walt Whitman when he's looking out at the sea. Ask Alan Shepard when he's standing up on the moon, staring at that pearl of blue. Ask an atom in the breath you take. Ask the water by the riverbank. Ask a strand of DNA, it's written in your blood. One life running in your veins, one life, one big bang. You try and separate it, but all the world is one. All the world is one. Go and ask the Buddha when he's sitting under the tree. Ask Annie Dillard when she's up on Tinker Creek. Ask Alan Shepard when he's standing up on the moon, staring at that pearl of blue. Oh, you can take an outbound train, try and make a getaway. You can ride off like John Wayne into the setting sun. But earthlings don't leave town, they just go round and round until they figure out all the world is one. All the world is one. All the world is one.
Good morning. My name is Mary Alm, and I'm the worship associate this morning, and I'm going to invite Eliza Ward to join me. Martin, oh, sorry. Ward Martin. Martin Ward. Martin. Definitely Martin. Would you please come, Eliza, and light our chalice? Do you want me to read the words first, or? Same time. Every Sunday, we gather, we light the chalice, a symbol of Unitarian Universalist faith. Our reading this morning is by Alexis Engelbrecht, who is the coordinator for the UU Soul Matters Family Ministry. Welcome to this community of seekers, of questioners, and of those open to the revelation that comes from experiences with one another and the spirit of life. May we remember that while we have some answers, we don't have all the answers. While we know some things, we don't know everything. And while we have lived, others have experiences very different from our own. Welcome to this community full of questions and possibilities. Thank you, Eliza. Now we are going to sing together. Please rise in body or spirit. The words will be projected on the screens. They are being projected on our screens. We are going to sing hymn 346, Come Sing a Song with Me. And I wonder how many verses we're going to be doing.
Oh, that is a wonderful question. I think we're doing 1, 2, and 4.
1, 2, and 4. But the words are on the screen.
Good morning. Instead of a story today, we're going to share a special ritual to honor our high school graduates. Bridging is a UU tradition that marks a significant time of life as youth emerge into young adulthood, a time when teenagers open new doors, perhaps leave their family homes and move off to college, employment, military service, or another adventure. Bridging is important, not only in the life of the individual, but also in the life of the whole family and our faith community. This rite of passage reminds us that each person is worthy and that we are in this community together for the lifespan. It is a call to us in the older generations to recognize and commit to the young people who bring a vibrancy to this place. We have known this year's Bridgers since they were young children. One of them could join us today, Eliza Martin, and another, Addie Murphy, unfortunately cannot be with us as she is celebrating out of state with other graduates and her extended family. Hopefully she's watching from afar or catching this later. Congratulations to Addie, too. We'll take a moment to get a glimpse of both Bridgers in a short slideshow they made for us, and then we'll hear from some special people.
Good morning. My name is Langdon Martin, and I'm Eliza's father. Eliza and I are aficionados of the board game Wingspan, the game, which was created by a UU named Elizabeth Hargrave, has players earn points by building their own bird sanctuary. When we play, we also learn about birds, and thereby learn to love birds a little more. In that spirit, I've been thinking about adolescent birds. When they come of age, birds fledge. So while we call this a bridging ceremony with a little bit of adjustment to the first three letters, we can just as easily think of it as a fledging ceremony. and I am thrilled that Eliza is spreading their wings into their next stage of life. Wings set me free, goes the line in the hymn Spirit of Life. As I reflect on Eliza's growth since our arrival in Swannanoa 14 years ago, I also feel gratitude for this community, the metaphorical village that it has taken to raise this wonderful human. What shall we call our village? Perhaps this is the village of Jet Pig. For those of you new to UUism, this acronym is for, help me out, justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. I have no doubt that Eliza will continue to spread these values throughout their life, thanks in no small part to this community. The leaders, collaborators, and mentors from crossing paths, our whole lives, coming of age, Why Are You, the musicians, and the chaperones to the mountain who've all played critical parts. I'm not going to try to name everyone lest I both omit people and exceed my allotted time, but I will give a special shout out to Nancy Perna for being Eliza's OWL teacher, COA mentor, and continued champion. Thank you to all of you for your care, for being a village with love at its center. My family and I are so very grateful.
Good morning. My name is Lucille, and I am Eliza's sister. When you're little, it's hard to figure out the world. I know when I was younger, I always felt a little out of place. I always needed some guidance. So I looked up to the person who was always there. When I was in 4th grade, we were asked to write about someone who we looked up to, and I chose Eliza. We had to write a few paragraphs about why we look up to them, and I tried to draw a portrait of them. Eliza has always been there in my life, and I couldn't think of anyone else I'd rather do. They're so attentive to all my little quirks, like giving me butter-themed items for my birthday, or helping me plan out a Halloween costume after saying I was looking forward to it, or even making my stuffed animals come alive when I was bored. They care so much about everyone around them, being whatever the next person needs. I have never met a more creative, selfless, silly, comforting, and passionate person. I still don't want to believe that one of the most important people in my life is going away to college. You have always been and always will be the person I strive to be like Eliza. I will never forget the magic you have brought to my life. Thank you for being the greatest sibling I could ever have. I'm sending you off with more love than I can describe. I love you so much.
You folks are a hard act to follow. My name is Nancy Perna, and I'm Eliza's friend. So, Eliza, when Jen asked if I wanted to say a few words at your bridging ceremony, I instantly said yes. Then I instantly said to myself, now why did you go and do that? You don't like to public speak. The answer was simple. I replied yes because you are a very special young adult and you mean the world to me. Having you in my life, in all of our lives, has been a very true gift. Thank you for being you. I don't want to get all verklempt, so I'll end with an excerpt from Kobe Yamada's book, Chasing Dreams. Your dreams are counting on you. Your future is asking you to believe, to be brave, to make it happen. The most important part of realizing a dream will always be the dreamer.
Thank you all for your beautiful words. Bridgers, Eliza, and Addie, you are a vital part of your family and this congregation and UU Faith and the world, and we are all the better for it. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. Your spirit matters. You have shown us over and over again how to speak out and act upon your values. Thank you for being with us and for teaching us. You are loved. And now we invite Eliza and Nancy to come forward. When children are dedicated in this congregation, they receive a rose to symbolize their beauty and inherent value. Before giving it to children, we remove the thorns to represent the shelter of this community, with our promise to welcome young ones with compassion, respect, and love. As a symbol of the bridging process, we again give a rose in honor of the strength, grace, and possibility you have shown in your lives so far. But this time, we leave the thorns on. Those remind you that life as an adult can be a little prickly, and it's still beautiful. Nancy will give you your thorny rose and some gifts, and we have confidence that you will be able to navigate those sharp points in life. We also remind you that it's very normal to need support at times. Like your coming-of-age mentor and your walking stick, your YRUU advisors, and other adults and peers who have accompanied you along your journey thus far, this congregation and space is here for you now and will be here for you in the future. Right, folks? So, a charge to the congregation. Let us offer our Bridgers the love and support that we wish for them and that they deserve. Make room for them to show up with their thoughts, traits, and gifts, to lead how they offer. Encourage, support, accompany, love. There are some other gifts too. We've included some Band-Aids, by the way, and some UU gifts, and we hope they offer you comfort and guidance on your newest adventure. Thank you.
So as we close this important ceremony in the life of our congregation, we are deeply, deeply grateful for the commitment this congregation makes to its children and youth. We offer gratitude to the adults who have accompanied Eliza and Addie on their journeys. We give special thanks to Jen Johnson, who leads this program with meticulous attention to detail and love and compassion. And lastly, we give deep gratitude to the families that have created an environment where these individuals can fledge into the next chapter of their lives, because they are doing what you have prepared them to do. And so I would like to offer a blessing to Addie and Eliza. It is modified from the words of Julia Hamilton. We bless you today. May your mind be on fire with wonder and wisdom. May your heart be aflame with love for this life. May your hands be ignited with purpose, and may your spirit be aglow with courage and compassion. May you be a light unto the world, and may you carry our steadfast love with you wherever you may go. Congregation, please repeat after me. We bless you.
We bless you.
We love you.
We love you.
May your life unfold in joy.
May your life unfold in joy.
May it be so.
May it be so.
Oh, transition. And now is the time in our service when we sing our children to the seeds of the faith formation that is going to lead them to coming of age. We will sing as you go. If you are visiting with us, please feel free to accompany the children to Sandberg Hall so you can meet their teachers and know where to pick them up. Let us sing together. It feels so empty without our children, and yet that is what they must do. And notice they go forth with very caring adults for whom, in many ways, it is a spiritual practice to support the spiritual journey of our children. So we are deeply grateful. And now is the time in our service when we make space for the joys and sorrows that we bring. We will begin with a time for reflection and prayer, and then we will follow with our ritual of the stones and water. So please feel the ground, the earth, the floor beneath your feet. Relax your body. Take a few deep breaths. Lower your gaze or close your eyes. And I offer you this prayer by Reverend Michelle Collins. Spirit of life and wonder, we come carrying questions we barely know how to ask. In a world that rewards quick answers and sharp certainty, something in us is still hungry for questions that leave us hanging and unknowing. Stir in us a living curiosity. When we meet what is unfamiliar, turn our fear into wondering. When we feel the pull to shut down, grant us one more honest question. May we notice anew what we have walked past 100 times. May we listen for stories we have never heard before. May we meet this day not as a problem to solve, but as a mystery to explore. And may this help us better know the mystery that is us. Let us share a moment of silence. And our ritual of the stones and the water is an invitation to be present to those things that are heavy in our hearts. And for that, we add salt to the water. It may represent tears of sadness. It may represent the heartbreak that we feel at times. And alongside that salt, we add petals to the water, because in our lives, the sadness and the beauty are intertwined. And aren't we blessed that that is the case? So, beloveds, at this time, I invite you to come forward. There are stones on the sides of the sanctuary. Please bring a stone to the water and then go back this way. And do the dance, because sometimes we do a dance while we're doing our ritual. And if you would like for me to place a stone in the water for you, just raise your hand, and I will gladly do that. And if anybody needs a hug, I can also give hugs. So let our ritual begin. And we'll place final stones in our bowl for those at home and for the joys and sorrows that we still hold in our hearts. If you placed a stone in the water for a sadness in your life, know that this community holds you in love and care. And if you placed a stone for joy, know that we rejoice with you. And I will take the privilege today of adding an additional stone. There are elections in Colombia today, and I just hold my country in my heart during this time. Now I offer you a reading. It is entitled Legal Alien by Pat Mora. Bilingual, bicultural, able to slip from how's life to me están volviendo loca, able to sit in a paneled office drafting memos in smooth English, able to order in fluent Spanish at a Mexican restaurant, American but hyphenated, viewed by Anglos as perhaps exotic, perhaps inferior, definitely different, viewed by Mexicans as alien. Their eyes say, you may speak Spanish, but you're not like me. An American to Mexicans, a Mexican to Americans, a handy token sliding back and forth between the fringes of both worlds by smiling, by masking the discomfort of being prejudged bilaterally. The words of Pat Mora.
Living in a city of immigrants, I don't need to go traveling. Open my door and the world walks in. Living in a city of immigrants. Living in a city that never sleeps. My heart keeping time into 1,000 beats. Singing in languages I don't speak. Living in a city of immigrants. City of black, city of white, city of light, city of innocence, city of sweat, city of tears, city of prayers, city of immigrants. Living in a city where the dreams of men reach up to touch the sky and then tumble back down to earth again. Living in a city that never quits. Living in a city where the streets beg for good intentions and a people's faith. A sacred promise a statue made. Living in a city of immigrants. City of stone, city of steel, city of wheels, constantly spinning. City of bone, city of skin, city of pain, city of immigrants. And all of us are
immigrants, every daughter, every son, everyone is everyone. All of us are immigrants, everyone.
living in a city of immigrants. River flows out as the sea rolls in, washing away nearly all my sins. Living in a city of immigrants. city of blacks.
All of us are immigrants.
City of light.
Every daughter, every son,
City of stone.
everyone is everyone.
City of wheat.
All of us are immigrants. All of us are immigrants. Every daughter, every son, everyone is everyone. All of us are immigrants. Everyone.
So as I mentioned earlier, our theme this morning is welcoming the stranger, rooted in the guidance found in faith traditions that call us to love our neighbor as ourself and welcome the stranger and the refugee with love and compassion. And those who are rooted in the theology of Christianity follow a teacher that was an immigrant, that was brown, that was a refugee, and that pushed back against empire. And in our own Unitarian Universalist faith, our values orient us toward justice and call us to welcome the stranger in a time when our immigrant neighbors are under attack. And we are called to bear witness and explore ways that we can support and push back against the cruelty of the government. And there are many local organizations and groups that are working to support our immigrant neighbors. And our pulpit guest this morning is Jacob Oakes, who is a member of our congregation and works for one of these organizations. Jacob, welcome. Tell us about yourself and how you came to Unitarian Universalism.
Thank you, Claudia. Like Claudia said, I work locally for Pisgah Legal Services, is the organization I work for. I'm the director of their immigration law program, and I'm an attorney over there. And Pisgah Legal Services does all kinds of different work, but I do immigration work. My team helps with primarily what we refer to as humanitarian type cases, helping the most vulnerable folks, victims of crime, juveniles that have been abandoned or neglected, maybe abused, victims of human trafficking, and even some folks who are here fleeing persecution in their own home country. With that said, I'm here today as a member of this church and a friend. I'm not speaking for Pisgah Legal Services to the extent I express any opinions. I came to UU, grew up, with values that my parents taught me, my mom's house, my dad's house, and then my dad started taking us to a UU church. I think I was around 12 up in Meriden, Connecticut, and it fit with the values that I'd been growing up with already. I felt, to see the best in everyone, and welcoming, valuing differences, compassion, seeing the inherent dignity in other people. And so that was my whole teenage years. Took a long time off till I started coming again. When I had children, my wife and I started coming. And I like to think I was living out those UU values in between a bit, but I'm back now. My grandpa, he went to all kinds of churches throughout his life, but he became a UU in his late 80s, up in a different church in Connecticut, long after my dad and I both moved back down here. And he said, I don't remember exactly his phrasing, but he remember him saying to me that it felt like the best fit to the values that he'd been living his whole life, and he finally found that place in his late 80s. So I thought that was kind of cool.
That is pretty cool. I wish our older kids were here so they could hear your story and see that circle come to a close. So you talked a little bit about how those values that you were raised with informed your upbringing. How does being a UU inform your work?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think everybody deserves a fair shake at the most fundamental level. That's how it fits my work. You know, it's my little way of helping one person at a time, if I can, to live on equal footing if they can obtain the documents to be able to work and to go to school and to get a driver's license and live without fear, like the majority of folks do without thinking about it. And so, yeah, I think treating other people as we all want to be treated, you know, as cliche as it may sound, I think that's the little bit that I have to give.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool because when we talk about having equal footing, right, and what you're talking about is everybody thriving, that's what we talk about when we talk about collective liberation, that everyone has an opportunity to thrive. And the work you do helps move us in that direction so that people are treated with equity and fairness and not, you know, not being expendable. And so as we move forward and talk about immigration, you know, this month our theme is curiosity. So one of the questions is, you know, why are people coming here? And of course, we know that a lot of people immigrate to this country looking for opportunity, fleeing violence. My parents came so that we could get an education and moving away from living in poverty in our own country. And alongside the many other reasons why people come, I've always thought it was important that we remembered that in some cases, people end up being refugees or seeking asylum because of interventions that our country has made in Central America, South America, the Middle East, the Caribbean, that have caused people to be refugees. And yet when they come, we close our doors on them. And I think part of it is we just don't really know our history. And so when we don't know our history and we hear false narratives, we kind of can't discern because we don't know what we don't know. So I'm curious, with the work that you've been doing with Pisgah Legal, what are some of the insights that you've gained? I know we've talked about some of the misconceptions that people sometimes have.
There really are so many misconceptions. I mean, it's complicated. Everybody's got a different story, different situation. The law is complicated, but, you know, one of the primary misconceptions is this whole, you know, myth of get in line, do it the right way. You know, there frankly is often, more often than not, no way for somebody to simply just immigrate to this country, or even more so, somebody who happens to be here and needs to obtain proper documents and they're already here, it may be even more difficult yet, to the extent that there are remedies and ways to obtain lawful status and documentation. Sometimes those can be backlog years or literally decades or even like a generation to wait. And so, you know, that complication of trying to obtain status the proper way, you know, and the inability of folks to be able to do that, really, sometimes that myth, along with others, you know, give those that may seek to divide and to demonize immigrants, you know, a permission structure to say, oh, it's not that I don't like immigrants, I just want them to do it the right way, when it's simply not even possible. You know, there's other false narratives around equating immigration and criminalization, which are completely false narratives as well. They don't have anything, no correlation at all. You know, undocumented does not equal criminal, right? These whole narratives of emptying jails into the United States is just made up. And but it does add and add to that sort of permission structure of saying, hey, these immigrants are okay, but the criminal, in it, and the equating it, nobody is saying, oh, we want criminals running around. Nobody's saying that, right? And, to the extent that people commit crimes and there is a criminal justice system for that, we can argue whether that's needing some work or not, but it's a separate conversation than the immigration conversation is, And the racial profiling that the Supreme Court has green-lighted, to an extent, right? They're like, oh, you can profile as long as they're like standing next to a Home Depot too, right? Like, okay, so they're all criminals? What? Like, they're false narratives, And I think the last one that I see a lot, that you had mentioned folks that flee destabilized places, that America may or not have contributed to that destabilization, the whole open border and need to close the border, right? Again, nobody's advocating for no border, right? That's another false narrative. But the closing of the border to lawful asylum seekers coming to the border, seeking permission to enter, to try to at least have your case heard that you merit being able to be here for protection. I mean, that flies in the face of US law, international law, our values as written on the Statue of Liberty to welcome the least among us. It's lawful to seek asylum, and it's really important for people to remember that.
And I think it's, I really appreciate us having the ability to just have this conversation and to hear from someone that is knowledgeable about what is going on, and to highlight, the fact that we have these false narratives. And it's not just the false narratives, it's also the language we use. When we call people alien, when we call people illegal, it is a strategy for dehumanizing people, calling them criminals and rapists, and it triggers something in us. And if we don't question it, we allow it to be part of the narrative and the way we understand what is happening. So I really appreciate having this opportunity, and I know that you work with a segment of the immigrant population in the face of the larger assault and kidnapping and terrorism that we're seeing in our country towards immigrants, and we are all touched by that and upset by that. And so I wonder, what keeps you grounded in this work? Because it must be challenging to stay hopeful.
It definitely is difficult sometimes. Burnout is real in all kinds of different areas of working in service to other people, right? And my job is no different than that. I'm exposed to, secondary trauma, as they refer to it. People telling me the worst things that's ever happened to them. I may be the first person they've ever told in their life about this thing that may be relevant to me helping them with their case, right? And also the stakes. If I win or lose a case for somebody, it could mean they get to stay or potentially go back to a dangerous place. But the positive outcomes, which we do get, are worth it. And I try to keep perspective about it. I'm not trying to save the world. I'm trying to help the person in front of me, the neighbors that I am working with, right? There's smarter people than me that are doing the policy work that really needs to be done.
Right.
I take care of myself to make sure that I don't get burnt out, right? I have to compartmentalize when I step away from work. It's not easy necessarily to do every evening or even every weekend, but I take time off when I need to, and I get outside and breathe that fresh air, spend time with my family, and to make sure that I'm well, so that I can continue to do this work. Because if I'm not all right, I can't do anything for anybody else.
Yeah, and that is so important, and that's one of the reasons why we talk about having spiritual practices, because being out in nature, spending time with your family, going on walks, all of those are spiritual practices. They're good for the spirit, they're good for the soul. So I think, it's so important that we do that and know that when we need to step away, others are leaning in and continuing the work. So it is not one of these things that we have to be on 24/7, because even when we compartmentalize, we still need to be able to take that break. And so as we prepare to close, do you have any thoughts on what we can be doing to support our immigrant neighbors?
Sure. Protest if you can. Use your allies. Use your privilege. Call your representatives. If there's some time you need to observe, record, stay safe, don't obstruct, vote. Yeah.
Awesome. And to the concept of recording, which is super helpful, if you have your cell phone, I want you to take note of this number, because if you were to see something and record, you don't want to put it on Facebook, you don't want to share it with your friends, you want to send it to CIMA, Compañeros Inmigrantes de la Montaña en Acción. They are the ones that take the calls for Western North Carolina. Sometimes people reach out to me and they say, I let Siembra know. Siembra is an awesome organization. They're a state organization, and they're not the ones that are responding to emergencies here in Western North Carolina. And I think another thing to keep in mind is that it is really important to note that even though we're not seeing the horrible assaults by ICE that they've been doing, they are quietly still kidnapping people. And so we do still need to be vigilant. And lastly, Katie Winchell, raise your hand. She represents our congregation. Yes, let's give her a... She represents our congregation in Faith Communities for Immigration Justice, and some of you already have these signs, but we want more in the community, so if you have one, maybe get one for your neighbor or let them know that they are available. They say, love thy neighbor, defend immigrant rights, ame a tu prójimo, defiende sus derechos. We want to blanket these, we want to blanket Asheville and Buncombe County and the state, if possible, with these signs. So they will be on sale at cost. And I've written down, and here on the sign is the URL for the website, because if you go to the website, it also gives you ideas for ways that you can be an advocate, support mutual aid, and show up for the immigrant community. So Jacob, thank you so much for being willing to have this conversation with me today. I've learned a lot just from from our conversation. I hope you have, and it's given me hope. And I'm glad to know that your little bit is making a difference. So thank you so much. And now, let us sing. So we are going to sing Love Will Guide Us. Please rise in body or spirit. And in fact, may love guide us, beloveds, as we engage in our community and work for justice.
And now we turn to the work of the congregation. Our first work is generally welcoming our visitors, and we do welcome you. We, on occasion, have the opportunity to ask you to stand and introduce yourselves, but all of the special aspects of this morning's service have kind of eaten up that time. But would you, if you're a visitor, would you mind just standing and letting us see that you're here? Because we will. Thank you, thank you. All, welcome, welcome, welcome. And after the church service, across the hall, we have coffee and tea and water. And we would love to get to know you better then. We have a wonderful person whose name is Trevor. Trevor, I saw you earlier. Are you here? No, but you're on the slide. There's our Trevor, who is our connections coordinator. He'll be in Sandberg Hall, welcome, being ready to talk to you, answer your questions, as will all of us, because we genuinely welcome people to this special community that we have. Our announcements have run as slides at the beginning of the service, and if you missed any of them, you can refer to the Thursday weekly e-news. Everything's in there, and if you're not receiving the e-news, it's really easy to sign on. Go to information@uuashville.org. Not that hard. information@uuashville.org, and say interested in getting signed up to receive the weekly e-news. That will happen. The community plate recipient this month is Western North Carolina AIDS Project, commonly referred to as WNCAP, Western North Carolina AIDS Project. WNCAP. And that is to say that any money put into the collection plate will be shared with them. If you wish to give to them specifically, put it in an envelope that you can find in your pew and mark it that way. And if you want to write a check, be sure to write community plate in the subject line. The work and ministries of this congregation are entirely supported by the generosity of our members and friends, and we celebrate your generosity every Sunday with music and with thanks. You make us possible, and we give thanks for you. The offering will now be gratefully received.
All right, we invite you to join in as you feel so moved to do. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. As I was walking, I saw a sign there, and on the sign said, no trespassing, but on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That side was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to the New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. Nobody living could ever stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody living could ever make me turn back. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this
for the gifts of your presence, your time, your wisdom, and your resources. We're very grateful, as we are for the music brought to us today by Steve and the Sandbergers. Such a gift.
Okay, let's sing again. Say something. Something. All right. Oh, well, I learned as a child there's two ways to see the world as it is and the way it could be. Some people say that's just not my problem, but some people do what must be done. They see the hole in the fabric that must be sewn. They see the way blockaded and they roll back the stone. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. Oh yes, they do what must be done. They do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. Now I've seen the toll taken, the tears that were shed. I've seen the journey started and the ripples spread. Some people say that's just not my problem, but some people do what must be done. They see the hole in the fabric that must be sewn. They see the way blockaded and they roll back the stone. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. Yes, some people do what must be done. They do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done.
Thank you. So as we close, I offer you this poem because we must do what must be done. And we must continue to love our country. And this poem is entitled, I Still Love This Country, written by Kate Lohr, who is a Unitarian Universalist poet. I still love my country. Yes, even now, even with the lying, the fracture, the forgetting, there is much to love. I love that we can set aside whole cathedrals of earth to be held in trust for all of us. I love the many languages we speak, how our voices rise in different cadences of home, how we come from everywhere and still reach in our own ways for what is good and holy. I love our Constitution and how it speaks beyond what its authors could imagine, growing a spine of truth that is timeless. I love the ones who opened the path, broke it open, really. Harriet and Frederick, Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse, Martin and Dolores, Mother Jones and Rachel Carson, Harvey and Marcia, Einstein and Tyson, Langston and Mary, Eleanor and Alexandria, Ruth and Ida. Voices that found me, formed me, taught me how to see. These are the ones I want stitched into the flag when it lifts into the wind, because I am tired, so tired of seeing it claimed by fear and forgetting, by those who would narrow belonging, rewrite truth, hoard power, profit from harm. Yes, these too are part of us. The shadow is real, but I will not hand over the whole sky because of the storm. I will not surrender the flag or even the word patriot, not to those who shrink we into something small, white, and guarded. No, I claim this country for the ones who widened the circle, who told the truth, who kept reaching toward a more humane world. I still love this country, and I will keep naming what is worth loving until it remembers itself. Woo. The words of Kate Lohr, who always inspire. And so, beloveds, despite the horror, despite the cruelty, know that there is love. Know that, like you, there are people all over the state, all over the country that want us to remember the country that we aspire to, the democracy that we can be. Let us go forth and each of us do what we can to co-create this nation of ours that is falling apart, but we will not lose hope and love it less, because together we can move it forward and make a difference. May it be so, beloveds. Thank you for joining us today. Let us rise in body or spirit and bless each other as we leave. Go in peace, vayan en paz. Don't forget, signs are for sale, and there's a family picnic also happening. So check things out in Sandberg Hall. Adios.
Oh, no.
Glad you enjoyed it. Nice to meet you. I'm Will.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a song by Blake Greenway.
Great job. Lovely. Musician? Yeah. Okay. We used to come to this church when we were half and half. Yeah. Well, if you find your way back here, we'd love to play music with you. If you find yourself in the same space as us, we should be. Absolutely. We have sung in this congregation. Y'all live in Huntsville? Yeah. Anyway, great job, you guys.
Are you Jacob's dad?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Brett. I know the family.
Great job.
City of Immigrants. Yeah. Really good. I screwed up the